Okay, this is going to be part 2 of the Wild Willie Borsch Winged Expressed Altered Rod. We're working on this kit, as you saw from part 1. Go over there if you haven't seen that part. Start there, and or the introduction that I uploaded. Maybe that's the right order. The introduction, then part 1, and then come back to part 2. If you're at part 2, welcome. You've been following along with the model so far. So one thing that I've learned in building this great little kit, which get one, have a blast, man, I am, is you sort of, every picture you go and find on the internet is a little bit different. It seems like Wild Willie was always whittling on this thing and making updates and changes. What do I mean by that? Well, like this picture over here, you see there, see the wing? It's much smaller. And you see the intake for the blower, it's the type with the 3 inlets. And you see the pipes over here, they're either silver or maybe white over silver, something like that. And you'll see that some of the trim and stuff on there will be different. The steering wheel will be different as he goes through. I don't know if he was using different steering wheels from time to time, or he switched it out. And also the wheels themselves. There's a spoked wheel up front here. Let me get the picture up there where you guys can see it. In this date picture, there's a spoked wheel up here. Later on, and certainly as in the model, he's got Halibrands on there and Ansons on the back. I think these look to me, I realize you can't see it in the camera, but they look to me like these are Ansons back here right now. But he's got spoked wheels up front on this picture. So I think within a standard deviation, this is you can certainly obviously work with this kit and make alterations. I'm trying to decide which pipes I want. I've seen pictures where it was kind of in this configuration with chrome pipes. I kind of like the idea of chrome pipes, but versus black. I'm not, because the block's black on this. The block was black all the time, but the pipes were silver, chrome, white. I'm thinking either the white or the chrome, but we'll see what I do in the end. And the gold Halibrands and Ansons I think look pretty sharp too. And those, well, hey, oops, I said those. These are shown to be chrome on the side, but that picture there to me kind of looks like they might be gold-ish, gold chrome look. So that's what I'm trying to do. So we've been down to the spray booth finally, and we got some parts to show as we're going along. So the wheels, I do that. I say strip all the chrome off because it's going to make your model look toy-like, and then I start building it back up. So after you get your priming done. And we talked about that in the introduction with what I wanted to try on this build in my ideation phase. So I'm using that airbrush primer, and then I got my it's a 2-part system for the chroming. So I got the black that company makes, which is, you got to use their black if you're going to use their chrome. It goes together. You can't just use anybody's black. You got to make sure you use the set of paints. So I used their black, and then I decided to go after that chromish kind of look. So phase 1 on that is I've sprayed these with gold leaf chrome lightly. It's a little tricky, but it made like a cloud of really fine setting gold. And then I move the parts into the cloud real fast. So I'm playing around. I'm experimenting with how to accomplish this. And then I'm going to go over this with a cloud of chrome. Not much, just a little bit, just to give it a little hit of the that two-part chrome on these. So we're going to see how that works out. So I'm kind of excited to find out if that experiment will yield. Now, what I talked about. Well, here's how that airbrush prime looks, for instance, right on the pipes. Okay, and then the airbrush black over the prime, and then over this goes to chrome. So this is step one towards chrome, which is getting the black from that company on the parts. And then here's some other parts that have also got the black applied to them. And then we're going to go over that with their chrome, right? So you can see looks pretty good, pretty fine. No streak lines, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's my valve covers, in their Hemi, so the spark plugs go down in between. So we got those ready to go. And then what? Part of that, oops, don't want to make you guys seasick. Sorry about that. I bumped the tripod. But, laying on that black here, and we're going to hit this with the chrome. That's looking pretty good at preserving the detail. And then what? Okay, so then, step one towards my candy finish. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep hitting the tripod there, guys. Step one towards my candy finish is hitting this with the gold leaf. So, primed it, and then I'm going over it with the gold leaf. Let me see if I can get this where the light hits it better. Yeah. So this is the gold that'll go underneath my clear red that I talked about, right? And so there are two parts that get this candy finish. One is the little shroud with the Ford logo up front, and then the body, the T-body shell is going to get that candy finish treatment. This piece right here is going to have to come back to chrome. So when I get done, I'm going to have to go back over in black and then come back with the chrome on this. Okay, so we got that. So there we go with that. And then what? Oh, okay, so now then I'm getting into various shades of black on the tube frame. So here's, I just decided to use this black since it was already in my airbrush. So at least this piece is going to get this black, right? And then some of the other pieces will get different shades of black. And I might go back in and do something on these big side sheet metal pieces here to make them look different than the tube frame portions. But that's where we are with this. All right. So far. Oh, and then this, I guess you call it scatter pan or something like that. It goes between the engine and the drive shaft. This piece, scatter shield, I think they call it. This piece is painted red. And and I know what I was going to say. So whenever I paint stuff, I go over it with a top coat of clear to protect it, because I don't want my color coats getting messed up. So I go over with a real fine clear coat, and sometimes it'll be glossed, sometimes it'll be flat clear coat, depending on how I want it to look for visual interest. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to talk about before we go is this. I used to build a lot of airplane plastic models, and the airplane people, you guys, know this, but in case you haven't been an airplane modeler, nobody may have clued you in to what those guys do as standard practice, because they work with a lot of flat color paints, and that's a real issue when painting with flats. I kind of keep the practice because I found it's just a very good practice to follow. So this is right here. This is what's called like a cross-section view. So if you can imagine, if you had a microscope and you were to slice through your finished surface. So this would be the top side of the model looking down, and the body, or the side of the body, or the roof of the whatever, the hood, and so let's build it up. It's like a sandwich. So you got the plastic piece, and we're cutting it, so we're not looking at the whole piece, but just like a slice through. And you got the plastic piece, and then certainly, next on top of the plastic, you're gonna prime it, right? So that this layer right here, that's your prime layer. And then, of course, you're gonna put some color on top of the priming. So that's this next piece. And as I just mentioned, what I do is I do a layer of clear. And then if I was going to have decals, for instance, this red line here, that represents kind of a cross section of a decal. And then I lock it in with another layer of clear. Now, the reason I'm doing this is that gloss clear is very smooth. And as you've all learned, you want to have your decals lay down on a really smooth surface. And so certainly if your color coat was like a flat color, how it gets flat is it's got real jaggedy edges to it and cross section, which refract light all over the place, whereas gloss, by contrast, is very smooth. So if you're shooting with gloss, you're probably going to be okay to lay your decals right on top of the gloss. But if you were using anything that had any kind of what's called tooth to it, you're going to need to smooth that out. And the way to smooth out and fill those valleys and come up with an even surface is to shoot clear over the top of your paint. And then lay your decals on top of the clear. And then, you don't want your decals to get all scratched off your model or whatever. And you actually want them to kind of look even. You want them to lay down. So, cut, we all know we trim real as close as possible to the edge of the decals. So we didn't end up with a lot of that, tail tag edge on them. And we put those on top of the clear. And then when it's all dry, you lock it in with another layer of clear. So that's what I do. And then there's a lot of stuff on the market that you can get to help you with your decaling. And there's stuff that's called decal setter, and then there's stuff called decal softener. And decal softener will help kind of stretch your decal. Yeah, I'm waving this around because I don't want to end up with trouble with a brand endorsement. But there's a company that makes decal softener, and they make decal setters. And you put a little decal setter down first, and then you put your decal on it, and then once it's kind of semi-dry, you come back in with your decal softener to get it to settle down and contour to any edges. Okay, so that's just something I do, and I thought I would throw that in. Okay, guys, back. Thought I would cut in and do this part real quick. I've been up from the spray booth, and we're at this stage that you see displayed right here on the tabletop. Laying in, various shades of black. I went in on these side panels over here with some gray metallic, which I think is looking, get out of the way there, looking pretty good on those side metal pieces I talked about. So we got gray metallic on that. Chroming, the two-part chrome process, those are looking pretty good on the supercharger, breather, and the valve covers. Engine block, I used a different shade of black over here. I found out by looking on the internet, I'd incorrectly identified this as the scatter shield. This is actually what's called an in and out racing transmission. So it's a very short, in and out from the engine to the drive shaft. And this protective covering, runs over the drive shaft. So in the actual final model build, this is going to sit in there like that and connect into the in and out drag transmission, which then connects to the back of the engine block right here. I decided, I was watching a bunch of YouTube video clips of the one-to-one Wild Willie car, and as I said, you would see these header pipes coming off in chrome, maybe one time, white another time, burnt. I just decided to go with burnt iron. I really like the way this looks. I think it's going to contrast well with the engine block. And I was able to decode what is going on with the wheels. So the inside part of the wheel is that gold metallic kind of gold chrome, and the rim part of the wheels is actually chrome. So I had to back up, mask off the gold part, shoot the black, because again the chrome is a two-part process. I had to shoot the black on there on the wheel parts, and then I had to go back in with chrome over the top of that. And the back tires on these racing slicks seem to be yellow lettered, so you have to go in very carefully and yellow letter those in the appropriate places. It's raised lettering, so it does help, but it takes a bit of a steady hand. Okay, so that's where we are right now. Okay, back. Let's see, we're going to talk a little bit about, well, we've been down to the spray booth, obviously, and have all the parts painted up now. Take a quick look at what we've got. Started building the engine, got the supercharger put together, got it mounted on the engine, belt attached to supercharger from crank, header pipes installed, aftermarket distributor installed, wired in to the semi-hemi valve covers per the way it should be. I guess these are water port jackets that have been capped off back here behind the engine. I got the in and out transmission installed. So this is all ready to go into the car, test fitted into the tube frame, and everything's looking good there. Going around here, I've got it laid out on the table, building table. You know, you've got your alignment table, I should say. You've got the bracket that holds the fuel tank, which is over here. Front axle, hairpins, control linkage, which runs between, you know, the driver's tub area and the front suspension, and some other secondary linkages that are up there too. Coming around here, you've got the protective shield that runs over the top of the drive shaft, the floor pan, wheelie bars that go in the back, you know, the differential drive shaft. Obviously wing, it's all, you know, painted up with the two-part chrome process, chute, parachute that is, and steering wheel. I've got to paint the outside of the wheel black. There'll be a hand paint job there. On the seat, I went ahead and chromed the back and went with the, again, I'm using a lot of different colors of black, so there was a lot of changing and cleaning of the airbrush required this time down in the spray booth. And keep your airbrush clean, right? That's obviously something we always have to keep after when we're painting. And you know, the support brackets for the wing, some of the control linkage parts, pedals, shifter is what this is over here. It's on the right side of the driver's cockpit. And then these two filler pieces that go on each side and fill in the distance between the tube frame and the T-bucket. And these caps, make sure you don't lose them. These caps are that go on the front wheels over here and attach to the end of the front suspension. So the next step, I mean, I know all this stuff fits together because I test fit it before in my fitment process step. So now it's a matter of just putting it all together. I'm going to go through and pick out these seat belts in here, and, you know, silver buckles for the attachments. All right, so there we are, and like I say, now we're just going to motor ahead and start putting this all together. All right, bye. Oh, one more thing. Let's see if I can move this without knocking my modeling world off its axis. Yeah, there. So one more set of pieces here. Oh, this thing. Let me see if I can back up. So this thing I got once upon a time somewhere, I don't know where, but it's really, really nice. It's just a plastic case, and it's just the right size for car modeling, I find, and I wash all my parts in here too. So let's look at that candy finish body. Let me get this out of here. And the shroud. And of course the paint that I used was that clear red. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so yeah, that plastic bin is really kind of a vital part of my modeling because when I spray things, right after I'm done spraying them, boom, they go right into that box and snap the lid and let them dry in there without any risk of getting dust on the part. So, in terms of the candy finish, remember I had that gold flake, that gold leaf flake that I put on first, and then over that I went with this really clear red paint. It was super clear stuff, right? And it takes lots of gentle coats, you know, real fine setting, and as mentioned in one of my earlier videos, I have certain airbrushes I really like to use, and I've got 3 different types, and the one with the finest setting, finest needle, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, really thin, multiple coats, just building it up with lots of patience. Don't stay in one area too long, or you're going to get, you know, those puddles that we sometimes get when we're airbrushing. So, just build that up with this clear, and I think you know it gives you that. I mean, once upon a time when I was a kid, we had these Schwinn Stingray bicycles, and one was called the Apple Crate, you know, the crate bikes. You guys know them. And my favorite was the one that was red, you know, with that Springer front end and, you know, the banana seat and the sissy bar and the slick and the 5-speed shifter and derailleur and all that kind of stuff. So it was that kind of candy apple red, um, you know, really cool. So yeah, I think this came out looking pretty good, right? And a pretty close match to what Wild Willie was running on his car. Yeah, I mean, I think that looks pretty close. You know, at least as close as you know we're gonna get it here at House of Aguirre. So yeah, so now per you know phase model build a la Aguirre, we are finally ready to go into our final building and you know final touch up. So we're kind of looping in here now, and then we'll get on to decaling after that. So okay, guys, talk to you later. Bye.